Good evening, comrades. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, viewers. Welcome to the SWAPO Talks. My name is Clive Mwandingi, and I'll be your moderator for tonight for the ninth episode of the SWAPO Talks. And today, at the SWAPO Talks, I'm joined by a very rich panel that is going to join me in dissecting our theme and our topic that we have for tonight, which is the natural resources benefication in Namibia, which is quite a trending and a hot topic that has been going around. So, but before we dive into the business of today and dissecting this very exciting and I can't wait to get on topic, I would like to give my panel to introduce themselves. And I'm going to be starting on my right with one of my panel members that are going to be with us today.
My name is Eliphas Hawala, and I'll be with you tonight.
And I'll start with my far left.
My name is Malcolm Kambanzera, a member of the SWAPO Party, and I'll be a panelist today.
And last but always first, the only lady in the panel today.
My name is Regina Ambabi. I'll be a panelist for tonight.
Our topic, as I've mentioned today, will be natural resource benefication. In reference to the SWAPO Party Manifesto, the benefication of natural resources plays a very crucial role in the sustainability and development of any nation. In Namibia, as outlined in the SWAPO Party Manifesto, there is a strong emphasis on outlining natural resources for social development while ensuring equitable distribution and regional growth. In this discussion today, we are going to delve into key questions aimed to really unpack what the SWAPO Party Manifesto is intending, where it's going with its direction when we are talking about the benefication of the natural resources of Namibia. And to start off, I'm going to start with Comrade Eliphas. Very nice to have you today here.
Okay.
Comrade Eliphas, how does the SWAPO Party-led government, I want to say led government, ensure and intends to ensure sustainable management of the natural resources in Namibia?
That's a very good question. As you know, sustainable development has two legs. It has the environmental part, it has a financial sustainability part, and also the social sustainability part. In terms of financial, we, as a SWAPO Party, intend to derive much benefit from mining by making sure that there's participation by our mining companies like Epangelo or NAPCO in the natural resources space. Socially, we want to make sure that there is enough corporate social responsibility, which is going to be mandated, because in the past, companies basically had to implement social responsibility on their own. There was no mandatory requirement in the law. And then in terms of the environment, we have to make sure that there is environmental impact assessments conducted. There's also, basically we have to also address issues of climate change to make sure that the society becomes resilient.
Thank you very much, Comrade Eliphas. Moving on, I'm going to go to my far left, Comrade Malcolm. We are on one of the platforms that we are today. We are streaming on SWAPO Youth League platforms. And normally in Namibia, we don't move a foot, an inch anymore without bringing the youth agenda to the table. Can young people actively participate in the decision-making process related to natural resource management or benefication under the guidance of the SWAPO policies?
Of course, I think, Clive, to answer your question, one particularly I would like to outline for you, when we speak of natural resource beneficiation, we're not just speaking about the benefactors, we're speaking about the individuals that are supposed to participate in that particular process as well. So when we're talking about the resource beneficiation and participation, three things are key. One is to strengthen your sovereignty, because you fall victim to exploitation, of course, when you don't strengthen your sovereignty. Two is to ensure that you have capacity building for these individuals. And then three is to ensure that participation is funded, rather. That's what I wanted to say. So when we're talking about young people, whether they'll be able to participate in the process of resource beneficiation climate under the SWAPO Party-led government, there are so many avenues where young people are brought to the table under the SWAPO Party-led government. There are institutions that are aligned for that specific purpose of bringing young people to the table. Your national youth councils, the SWAPO Party Youth League is here to hear young people's issues. The NYC is there to set up that particular platform for young people to go and discuss on policy level, what is it that the young people would want to achieve, of course.
Thank you very much, Comrade Malcolm. Still on the issue of young people, Comrade Regina, Comrade Malcolm has mentioned and spoken about institutes, and when we talk about institutes, we obviously are also referring to educational institutes. In what way can education programs be tailored by authorities aligned with the SWAPO-led government or SWAPO vision in enabling youth involvement and awareness about sustainable utilization practices concerning Namibia's natural resources?
Thank you, Clive. Youth and institution, in terms of especially technical skills, to ensure that we prepare our youth and with the necessary and give them the necessary skills that is required for them to participate in this natural resource benefication. In order to prepare the youth to participate in this activity or strategy, I think the best is to ensure that they have the necessary skills, they're empowered with the necessary skills to participate in the value chain especially. We as a nation do not have, and as young people, do not have the necessary investment capacity. So in that sense, the places or the areas where we can be able to participate, especially in this kind of activities, when we talk about mining, when we talk about oil and gas, when we talk about fisheries, the only way we can, the entry point would be skills development, employment creation. And by capacitating them with the necessary skills, then obviously the youth become employable, or they gain the skills to participate through entrepreneurship in these sectors. So through the Ministry of Higher Education, we have policies such as the technical, the TVET policy, and the WIL policy, WIL framework, and the articulation of pathways that is being crafted specifically to empower the youth, or to give them the opportunity through policy implementation to participate in this kind of activity. So we have, of course, the NTA, that is the custodian of technical education training, and they are doing so. They are doing a great job in ensuring that the skill sets that are needed for this kind of new, especially the new and emerging markets, we have the necessary skills, or not the necessary skills, but the courses or the training programs that are required for the youth to be ready for when this space opens up for them to participate.
Thank you very much, Comrade Regina. Comrade Eliphas, I'm back to you again. We are talking about skills development. We are talking about necessary skills that are needed in the market. We are talking about institutes aligning educational programs with the job market. Over the years, we have seen fishing quotas being dished out by government, and we have seen EPLs being awarded to local people. But still, we are seeing a trend, an increasing trend of foreign companies either taking over these fishing quotas, and still you really don't see where does the Namibian start to benefit from these natural resources. How do we close the gap? Or what are we doing? What is the SWAPO-led government doing to close the gap, really to ensure that that local Namibian person has got the necessary skills to be able to participate in this industry?
That's a very good set of questions. In terms of skills development, we have the Petro Fund, particularly for the oil and gas, but that only caters for the high-end jobs like engineers and so forth. So, but the policy itself, if you read the manifesto, it starts by saying first we have to create a conducive environment to make sure that we create new mines. When there is a conducive environment in the country, foreign direct investment comes to the country, then the mines are created. And then secondly, we now participate through obviously our state-owned enterprises or as individuals. And then thirdly, we have to create what we call local content policies, which ensure that the companies that are investing here, they do not just bring their own employees. For example, you have to employ at least 90% or 95% of Namibians. I'll give you an example like SWAPO, 95% of people employed there, they are all Namibians. So skills development is very important, but also even those ones that have just operator skills, we have to make sure they are employed, even at the mid and the lower end of the industry.
Mr. Eliphas, back to you again. We are talking about institutes, we are talking about the employment sector. One of the institutes or parastatals, especially when it comes to management of the natural resources, is Epangelo mining. So in what ways does the SWAPO Party-led government intend to provide financial support or whatever support it is to Epangelo mining, a state-owned company for that matter, to focus on exploration and exploitation of mineral resources in Namibia?
Thank you very much. As you are aware, Epangelo it operates across the entire value chain, and it has been receiving subsidies from the government. It participates in taking out shares in companies like Navahab and SWAPO Uranium. So, but it also has its own discovery. It has discovered, for example, there are only two gold mines discoveries. One is Osino, the other one is called Kokosi. That second one, the Kokosi, is discovered by Epangelo. Mm. But unfortunately, Epangelo had to dilute their shares to 20% to allow the investor to come in and develop that gold deposit. So what the manifesto is saying, Epangelo should be capacitated so that it will have its own funding from the government, so that we should not end up with a situation where we have to dilute to such a very low level. Apart from that, it's also mandated to assist other Namibians, like the small-scale miners, because if you have your own company like Epangelo capacitated, it will be able to assist people with skills, with technical know-how. And then also, there's also a promise within our manifesto that says funding should also be provided by the Minerals Development Fund, which is a fund created by an act of parliament. When you buy, for example, a map at the Mines and Energy, 2% of that money goes to this fund. And this fund should be revived so it can help. Because what we have seen, one of the big constraints is funding. So if we can solve the funding issue, we will be able to assist quite a lot of people through what is advocated in the SWAPO Party Manifesto.
Thank you very much, Comrade Eliphas. Comrade Malcolm, fish is a natural resource. And over the past few years, if I stand corrected, 4 to 5 years, we have seen the government, the SWAPO-led government, taking a very remarkable step in ensuring or attempting to ensure that really there is a beneficiation on local Namibians when it comes to the allocation of fishing quotas. Now, so how will the allocation of fishing quotas, the continuous allocation of fishing quotas, be regulated by the government, SWAPO-led government, to promote regional development as per party's manifesto?
Thank you, Clavette. I think first and foremost, we must acknowledge that the SWAPO Party-led government, in terms of managing this resource that we have called fish in our waters, is remarkable because historically, this is a sector that has been exploited by foreign multinationals. And of course, in that regard, the SWAPO Party-led government in the early 90s dictated that no, this can't be the manner in which we operate or continue to operate. When will the ordinary Namibian benefit from their own resource? And in terms of managing, they have, of course, the SWAPO Party-led government have, I'm looking for the right word, excuse me, they have managed the process in such a way that each and every ordinary Namibian, because historically the resource was exclusive for a certain number of, not individuals, but a certain class of individuals. And it has now been opened up, the process has been opened up. Any ordinary Namibian has the right today to just take a pen and a paper, fill it in when the allocation of fishing rights process opens up. They can take their pen and paper, fill it in, draw up, dictate how their business plan will benefit them and the other ordinary Namibians. So we've moved a mile away from where we were. And I think in terms of regional development, as you were indicating, Clavette, is that when the allocation is done, it's done in such a manner that there's a regional representation, identified and intentionally empowered, so that when we are saying Ohangwena has benefited from the resource, it means they have most likely benefited through X or Clavette Mwandingi, who has been allocated that resource, is responsible for plowing back whatever amount of money he gets from that resource, not just in his individual capacity, but also in the capacity of the company itself, to ensure that you either build a school or you plow back in terms of social corporate responsibility, employment, fish shops, whatever the case may be. But it's been managed in such a way that everyone is really represented in terms of regional representation.
Coming back to you quickly, Comrade Malcolm, are there strategies that are in place to ensure that the corporate social responsibility by the benefiting entities or companies are really implemented and government is, the SWAPO-led government is monitoring them?
Of course, the Ministry of Fisheries and Marine Resources has what you call a scorecard. A scorecard is what they use to tally whether you're participating meaningfully and plowing back meaningfully into the industry and into the economy. So when you are tallied against that scorecard, your company, whether it's you as an individual wholly owning the company, or whether it's you and the number of shareholders owning the company, your obligation is to ensure that once you are allocated the quota and a right, and you are participating in the industry, the amount of money that you get back, plow it back in, because when we revisit the decision of whether to allocate you a quota or a right again, is what we're going to benchmark you against to say, but Clavette, all these years you've just been pocketing the money. You have not even built one school, or you have not invested in a fish shop or invested in a vessel. So there are scorecards to look at social responsibility, investment in the industry, and so on. So that particular.
Thank you very much, Comrade Malcolm. Comrade Regina, despite the good policies and good strategies that are in place by the SWAPO party-led government, and especially referring to the SWAPO Party Manifesto 2024, investments still remains key. And what I want to understand is, how does the SWAPO party-led government plan to create a conducive policy environment to facilitate investment in Namibia, especially around natural resources sector?
Well, the SWAPO party-led government has done a great job thus far in terms of creating a conducive environment. I think, yes, as a developing country, we will have to continuously improve on our policy to ensure that we are sustainable and that we are able to meet the new demands. We live in a global village now, and it's fast modernizing, and we need to catch up and ensure that we are not behind as a government. Our policies, and especially the ones that have been developed of late, are tying in with our manifesto. And I'm very impressed by the way in which, especially in terms of natural resource, where we are headed as a government and as a party, in terms of implementation, support towards young people that are interested in participating in this activity, in terms of creating an enabling environment for them to participate in these kind of sectors. And also the strategies such as this one that we are planning on implementing and making sure that I think the important part is mostly to make sure that we monitor and evaluate. We need to ensure that we put in place strong monitoring and evaluation mechanisms to ensure that we stick to what we are planning as a government. But we are getting there, and we are doing a great job as it is right now. We look forward to implementing this manifesto and the strategies that have been stated, and I think the policies are in place. It's just where we need to work is just on the implementation and monitoring and evaluation.
Comrade Eliphas, back to you again. When we are talking about policies and strategies, transparency always comes up as a question and as a thought. I would like to understand, and I'd like you to make us understand here, how can transparency be assured, especially in managing funds generated by the allocation of quotas or tangible quotas for social benefits, as envisioned by the SWAPO Party's policies, advocating especially for efficient use of revenues derived from national assets like fisheries, for instance, even the mining sector, even the oil that has been discovered now in Namibia.
Thank you very much for the question. I think it's two questions in one.
Yes.
I will start answering the second one. The allocation, I mean, the proper monitor, the proper basically looking after of funds that have been made from fisheries and mining can be done either through creating a fund such as the sovereign fund,
Sovereign, yeah.
So that will make sure that you put aside money so that future generations can also benefit from this fund. So you protect it with an act of parliament. The second thing that we are promising in the manifesto is that corporate social responsibility funds, which are funds that are basically put aside by private individuals or private companies, should be mandated or should be actually controlled. At the moment, private companies simply claim that they are giving corporate social responsibility, but there is no mechanism in place, there's no law in place, there is no local content policy in place. So what we are saying, we have to have a local content policy which actually mandates how corporate social responsibility is carried out, including funding that is emanating from fisheries or from mining.
Thank you very much. We are about to come to the conclusion of our discussion today, very fruitful discussion. But before we get there, I think I would like to give the panel their last thoughts on what we think, especially on the step that the SWAPO Party Manifesto and the SWAPO Party-led government has really taken to ensure that, in my opinion, believe that the commitments are achievable, they are tangible. So what are your last remarks, Comrade Malcolm?
I think, Comrade Clever, from my end, would be to say the SWAPO Party Manifesto is a comprehensive document encompassing all our aspirations as young people, as a Namibian people. Through this particular document, our aspirations can be achieved. I would also say, or rather call upon Namibians, especially young Namibians, the 71%, to develop a sense of a patriotic agenda aligned and led by the SWAPO Party.
Mm-hmm.
So much so that our dreams and aspirations are aligned with the party manifesto, with the SWAPO Party-led government, in which we can put our trust in, we can rally behind, and say, this is what we want, please go and implement for us. Just that sense of patriotic agenda amongst ourselves to say, this is the direction we are all headed, regardless of who's leading, regardless of whatever. This is our agenda, and we are behind the SWAPO Party from now up until the end.
Thank you very much, Comrade Malcolm. Comrade Eliphas, the future being female, we are going to allow the female to be the last one to say to give the last remark. So, what are your last remarks on this?
My last remarks are that this manifesto is quite different from other manifestos. It places a lot of emphasis on accountability and also on monitoring and evaluation. Namibia as a country, or also as a party, we make very good policies, very good manifestos, but we have seen that there's a challenge of basically implementation. So that's why when you read the manifesto, you should take note that it places a lot of emphasis on implementation. What we intend this time around as a SWAPO party is to make sure there is implementation. And that is why you see the SWAPO list is made out of young people who are energetic, who are able to implement this manifesto.
Thank you very much. Just coming back to you again, Comrade Eliphas, what motivating words and encouraging words do you have from your side regarding our very, very, I like to say energetic, because she says she draws her energy from the young people and from this type of conversations, presidential candidate. What do you have to say?
Our candidate is a listener. Is a person that is likable by everyone. She has no enemies. Everybody in Namibia is a friend to our candidate. That's why you see she's receiving a lot of support. And then that's why we are asking the youth to go out there in their numbers and give their resounding vote to our candidate, Comrade Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah. And SWAPO is the people, and the people are SWAPO.
Comrade Legina, the future has been set, been told it will be female. I think that's all I have to say from my side, and hear your last thoughts and what you can say about our presidential candidate.
Yeah, thank you so much, Comrade Clivet. I think as a party, we have to do business unusual. And it is time to be disruptive. It is time for SWAPO to make uncommon decisions and targeted intervention. And we need to ensure that in this intervention, we are intentional on the developmental agenda that we are driving. We need to make intentional investment in the sectors that we are talking about as in our manifesto. We need to make intentional investments in ensuring that our youth participate. They need to feel and to belong and to be part of these activities. We need to give them the financial support that will be required for them to participate in these activities that we are talking about. And we need to create a space for them to be groomed and mentored so that they don't fail in these activities. So with that, I am very much proud of the manifesto, to say, as a SWAPO Party member, because it speaks to the future of the party. It speaks to what we have, our ideals as a SWAPO Party, and to our candidate, the mother. I am sure, with all of us behind her and giving her the support that she needs in terms of implementing these policies, because it's equally our responsibility to ensure it is not just her that must do it. We need to back her up and make sure that it is her strategies, her agenda, the manifesto, and the SWAPO Party as a whole is successful during this tenure. So I would like to urge all the young people out there to go out and vote in numbers, because the SWAPO Party is a trusted party. It is tested, and it has proven to have done a great deal during the past 34 years of independence, and we are willing and ready, as you can see through our manifesto, to do more and to go even extra in making sure you participate.
You are watching SWAPO Talks, the 9th episode. And from me, Clive Mwandingi, I would like to remind you that the triple N, November, Netumbo for Namibia. Thank you very much. Stay tuned and keep following.
Find